What's up, people? Coming at you again this morning. So I'm about to talk about how people with high credit scores are about to get punished, right? This don't even make sense. So we have they call it loan level price adjustments, right? So basically, Biden administration is putting together a package that's going to start actually on May 1st. So actually a little bit in a few weeks. Basically, if you have a higher credit score, you're going to have a harder time, or you got to pay more money in order to purchase a home, right? So they look at some data, some information, right? So in the White House, they said, 25% of the Federal Housing Finance Agency loans are persons of color, right? So anyone else is not white. Back during the, there was a gentleman that was working as a Mortgage Banker Association CEO, and he was also the FHA commissioner back when Obama was in office. He said, if you look at credit scores across our nation, right? If you look at it by race, and back in 2021, white people on average had credit score 727. Hispanic persons on average 667. Black people on average 627, right? So they were saying that, hey, if we make the fees for originating and getting started with purchasing a home lower for people with lower credit scores, on average, we're going to help more minorities get homes, right? But what they're not looking at, which I think is so stupid, is race is not monolithic, right? Like all black people are not the same. All white people are not the same. All Hispanic people are not the same. All Asians are not the same. All Indians are not the same. All everybody is not the same. They're mixing up race and trying to fix a problem, but they're going about it in the wrong way, right? So when you look at someone's race, it's the color of their skin, right? That's how we pretty much determine someone's race, right? When you look at someone's heritage, that's looking at their ancestry, where they come from, where there is a mix of cultures, where there's a mix of races, where there's a mix of stuff. That's someone's heritage, where they're from, where they've grown up, what they're about, right? Then you have their culture. You can have a mixed heritage, but grow up in a specific culture, right? Like I knew guys that were, I'm just gonna go through examples I've seen in my life, right? I know guys I've seen that are cat and dog, chill out. The dogs are messing with the cat. See, look at this. They run around and mess with her. I know this is a short snippet. Oh yeah, I still got the construction going at the house. So everything's not fixed here yet. But like, see, they're playing around. All right, anyways, no one's getting hurt, no one's dying. So basically, you have people, I have people that I've seen, right, that are white guys that maybe grew up in an urban area, grew up in black culture, fully immersed in it, right? They talk with a swag, they dress a certain way, they look a certain way, because that's the culture they grew up in, right? I have other friends and family that I've known for the military, right? They were born in Japan, right? So nationality, they're Japanese. They were born there, but they grew up in the U.S. or they grew up in the culture of wherever they were. So like your race can be one thing, your heritage can be something else, and your culture can be wherever you are, whatever environment you're in, that's your culture. Like I grew up in American culture, Southern American culture. Been a Southern boy, that's where I've been, that's where I've been living, that's where I'm at. So if you look even in the United States, if someone's born up in New York or somebody's over in California, they grew up in a different culture. We're all still American, so our nationality is the same, but our culture within America is slightly different. I don't know about surfer guys and a surfer vibe, and I don't know what it's like to be on the streets in the boroughs of New York. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to be down in the South. Anyways, I'm just saying all that to say, our nation is a hodgepodge of people, right? We got mixtures of cultures, nationalities, heritage, and races all around here, right? So for them to say, because the statistics show on average, people of a certain color have a certain credit score, we're going to make it easier, less barriers for those people with a lower score to get into a certain category for home ownership. On the front end, okay, that's a great idea. You're trying to help people. But what about people who are well-to-do it, who are trying to do a good job and take care of what they need to take care of, and they have resources, they've worked to get their credit score up, they've worked to save money, they want to go make a down payment, and now they're going to have to pay more than someone else who maybe didn't take that time or opportunity. Now, I'm not blanketing everyone into the same category, because there are people in unfortunate situations who don't have the resources available to them, who would have had opportunity to increase their credit score. So they're in that situation based on circumstances out of their control, maybe. But there are people who have it within their control. And then there are people who within their control have taken ownership of their decisions and their purpose with their financial discipline to get themselves into a place where they've saved up their 15-20% down payment. They have paid their bills on time, used credit wisely to have a higher credit score, and now they're going to have to pay more than someone who potentially didn't exercise the same discipline to have that kind of situation because of a policy like this. When really, I think the policy is mixing a lot of things together. So basically, after May 1st, 2023, if you have a credit score over 680, you're going to have a little bit of a higher fee, especially if you come with the 15 to 20% down payment. If you have a credit score less than 680, you're going to have a lower fee. And this boggles my mind because I have a credit business where I help people to increase their credit score. And in helping people to increase their credit score, I help them to increase their score so they have more favorable time getting rates for their loans, right? I partnered with some mortgage brokers and some real estate agents to say, hey, if you got people that are trying to get a loan and they don't meet the minimum requirement for their credit score and they can't write their loan, then, send them to me. I'll help them out, get their credit up, and then they can go back and apply. And it's worked out for a lot of my customers. But now I'm like, what the heck? I'm gonna be trying to help people raise their score just so they pay more? Like, that's gonna make me lose business. But anyways, that's beside the point. It's a side hustle anyway. The other thing is these loan level price adjustments. So if you think about back in housing crash, we learned a lot about that back in 2008, right? So basically, loans were giving out to people who were, they call them like subprime, right? There's different categories of loans. So if you have like an 800 credit score, you have a pretty decent income, and you go to purchase a house and get a loan for anything, right? They rate the loan based on your credit worthiness, your debt to income ratio, your total income, the total amount of debt you might have outstanding. They factor all these things in when they get to underwriting, and a lot more stuff I haven't gone into. There's a whole bunch of things. But anyways, the point of it is you have loans based in categories like school. There's like an A, a B, a C, a D loan, right? So if you get into a category, we have a lower credit score, that means your credit likelihood worthiness of paying them back is lower. So if it's lower, normally they charge you a higher interest rate because you're a higher risk person to loan money to. I've had instances where I've given money to people, I didn't expect it back. I've had instances where I've given people money and expected something back from it and didn't get back what I expected, right? And doing business deals and trying to partner with people and trying to help people do whatever the situation was, right? So then in those situations, if I didn't get the money back, that was on me because I should have vetted who I was giving it to ensure they were a worthy person to pay it back. Sometimes life happens, other things happen where people can't, and that's understandable. Sometimes people just don't and they won't, that's a whole nother story. But the whole point of it is, if you loan to someone who's a higher risk to pay you back, the way that you make up for that risk is by charging them a higher interest rate. So this new thing that's coming out doesn't make any sense because why would you loan to someone who has a lower likelihood of paying it back and give them a discount on giving them the money? Because what you're going to wind up happening is potentially people that don't have the worthiness to pay it back are going to get loans. And then the people that gave them the loans aren't going to make as much back in the interest to make a profit on giving them the loan. So it could turn into a debacle. I mean, I'm not going to forecast gloom and doom because I really hope that doesn't happen. But I think you all can see the big picture of what's happening here. Like if someone has a higher credit score and they have the ability and the income and all the resources to pay you back, if you give them something and they use it, they're probably going to pay you back. If you give it to someone who has a lower credit score without the means to pay you back, they probably won't. I'm going to stop there, but there's so much more I could say about this.